Okay. Alright. Shaq. Okay, why do I no plan SD to SNES? That's a great question, Matrix. Thank you for popping in. Let me start with the intro stuff first. This is going to be a tutorial for Shaq on the Super Nintendo, easy mode. It's about a 7-minute run for an okay-ish time. So the reason that we don't play on the SD to SNES is because you pretty much need to have keyboard inputs. And the reason for this is that there's 3 main moves we're going to be using, and the first one is called a Shaquriken. Now, on the controller, to do the Shaquriken, you have to go this, 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 and then this button. But doing the switching back and forth, you're likely to accidentally hit up or down. So I highly recommend that you play this game on emulator like SNES 9X, or like BizHawk, or Higgin, or RetroArch, or something like that. Because you're going to want to be able to go like this. That's the main attack that we're going to be using. So yeah, let's get started. So first thing that's going to happen when you load the game is you're going to get this lovely sound effect and then this awesome music. So we're going to go to the options. We want to make sure that it's set to easy, and you want your audio off, unfortunately, and that's going to be the last sound the game is going to actually play. And then finally make sure your game speed is set to fast. I don't know if there's any submission rules for Shaq, but I actually put a save state here, and I usually start from this screen showing that all my setup is right. You're going to want to make sure that you have the fast punch button bound to something that you know what it is. I use Y because that's what's default. Move boost we actually used to use, but we don't use move boost anymore. It's not very helpful since you can just block instead, and blocking reduces your score at the end. So now there's no audio. Timing starts when you hit story. So the only other button we're going to use other than the D-pad Y and Y is start. So when you hit start your timer, and then you want to keep mashing start to go through the opening cutscene. So 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm just mashing start because there's all this text that you want to skip through, and it takes you into here. So while you're in this loading, you want to hold left because you'll start about here, and you move a little bit while the screen's fading in. So you want to hold left, but you're going to hit these trees. So you want to hold left and then hit down a little bit to come into Catwalk Falls. So the movement's like this. Now, one thing that's important to note about where you are on this, wherever you are here after the end of the fight, you're going to stay there. So if I enter this fight here, then I have to walk all the way down here for the next fight. So we want to start this fight just about here if we can. So what I do is I'm holding left and down, and then I mash start to get to here. I'm gonna make a save state. You want to mash start during these text scenes. So I'm gonna pause and talk about the sound a bit. The reason that the sound is off is because it reduces input lag, or it reduces lag that the game has from trying to render too many background sprites. And all in all, it saves us about 20 seconds in the run just from that. Not to mention making the fights actually easier. So the main move we're going to use is the Shaquriken, and it's performed by hitting left, right, left, and then Y. So it's like this: left, right, left, Y. Well, and you get hit, but sometimes you just get crap luck. Come on. Oh my god. So there you can see it flying across the screen. This move does a significant amount of damage. Now the enemy's in fury mode and we don't really care. You can buffer up your Shaquriken pretty far. If I can not die, that'd be great. Man, she is really feisty. This boss is pretty crappy because she she does a lot of this. So you'll be resetting a lot here if you grind this. So we'll do the buffered one a lot more in the Rajah fight, which is lovingly named Lag City. So that was pretty good. You'll notice that the score counts down just like it does in some other games, and so you might be tempted to say, oh, well, why don't I make sure that I take a hit? This is pretty crap RNG here. What they do is pretty much random. You might be tempted to say, oh, I'll take a hit specifically just so that way it reduces the amount of time that the timer is scrolling down, but it actually doesn't save that much time. It only saves I think like 30 frames if you take like a lot of damage all the way down. And it saves like 8 frames if you get like hit once. But the thing is that you got hit, so you're gonna go back and not be able to attack. So from here on, when you get to the end of the fight, you're gonna want to mash start to go through the fight's final text up until it starts to fade out. And then you want to hold down right to go to the next fight. This one, it actually, oops, I guess we're fighting this again. So you get to see me mash start and do it appropriately. So some fights like this one have little lag, so there wasn't a lot of lag during that fight, and so you can pretty much just mash your Shaqurikens as fast as you can. If you do them too fast, you can despawn your Shaquriken, so when you have Shaqurikens traveling across the screen like that right there, you want to slow it down a little bit. But if they're right next to you, if they jump to you, like that's, you know, seconds saved right there, because you don't have to wait for the Shaquriken to cross the screen. So yeah, I want to mash here, sorry I wasn't paying attention, and then hold right and down and it'll start moving immediately. This one, it doesn't matter to mash to go into it because you can come in here, 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 or anywhere, and the next fight is going to be down here anyway. So just enter this fight at your leisure. Mash start. This fight is the worst one in the game, except for the first one, which you're going to reset a lot, but this one's pretty bad. He almost always opens with a long-range attack. Almost always, like this. So what you want to do in this case to start this fight is you're going to want to hold left and down. And this is the blocking mechanism of this game. There's no block button. See, this I didn't hit start, and so this is taking forever and a day. Also, this is the laggiest fight in the game, so we're going to hold left and down at the start of this fight. And we're not gonna wait for an attack, because if he does like a backflip like he does there, like there's no point in just sitting here. And at that point, I would start with the Shaqurikens. But you know, if he does that, then you're prepared to go, and he'll usually not attack from there. So this is the laggiest fight in the game. So this is where buffering your Shaqurikens comes in place. I usually try and judge it with when the Shaquriken is about halfway through the screen is when you want to trigger the next one. So I'm going to go, if I can get started here. So he's pretty close to me, so I don't have to worry about it right now. But now he's pretty far away, so I'm going to hit left, right, left. Oop. My bad. Ugh, this is not going well as a tutorial. So I'm going to do this again, but basically what you do is you hit left, right, left to prep up the Shaquriken. Man, play nice. This is why this guy isn't fun, because he just keeps doing this. And when the Shaquriken is about halfway across the screen, that's when you hit Y to trigger your next one. And it's weird with the timing, because if you go too fast, you'll despawn your Shaquriken, and if you go too slow, you waste time. So that's that fight. It really, really sucks. Just because there's so much lag. There's like fires and stuff going on in the background, and it really slows things down. So we're gonna block. He was an idiot and jumped towards us. So this is a really good second fight here. And there you can probably hear the keyboard tapping of when I hit Y to continue on with the next one. So same thing here, we want to mash start and then hold down right. And it's going to walk us across over here into the next fight. Well, you might have to adjust a little bit. This one's a little... I started in a bad position here, but it's pretty much diagonal the whole way. You probably have to go over a little bit. So this guy is a complete pushover, and this fight is super easy. There's no blocking. Actually, Rajah's the only fight that we block on, except for the last fight, if you're really getting the crap kicked out of you. So this fight, you just spam Shaqurikens pretty much as fast as you can. There's not a lot of lag in this fight, and this guy has a lot of time between his attacks. If he hits you, it's really not that big of a deal. He has a long-range lightning attack that there's not much you can do to dodge it. But in general, he's a complete pushover. If you're lucky, he'll jump towards you. There can be a case with this fight and the next fight where the enemy's hitbox are pretty thin, and the Shaqurikens can phase straight through them, which is really bad. And they'll be standing perfectly still, and your Shaquriken will go right here, and they'll come out the other side of them. And if that's the case, you have to pretty much make a judgment call. Did I just gold split that? That doesn't make any sense. But you have to make a judgment call at that point. You want to either take a step back by like holding left, take a step forward by holding right. I usually take a step back if that's the case. Or wait for them to move, which is RNG dependent and can take forever. So this part you're going to want to gold split. Yeah, I have no idea where that came from. So this part you're going to want to practice the movement on because it really sucks. So usually from here you go straight up until you're in the middle of this bridge, and then you walk across. The bridge is an object that's placed here after you beat the first 3 fights. We do them in this order because it puts you closest over here. So you can see, like, I'm getting stuck here, and like, yeah, no, I must have like missed. Oh, you know what? I think it was I split before I went into the fight instead of after I beat Rajah. So like this bridge, like it's really crappy. If you get stuck here, you're pretty much stuck. So you don't want to take any shortcuts here. You want to just go straight up, middle of the bridge, straight across, and then right here, right under Shaq's feet. You probably can't see this because my bit rate is really low, but there's a spot where it goes from a darkish brown to a lighter brown. That's where you can start coming through the bridge again. So you want to walk across and then go upright into the Lost Jungle. And right as you're going upright, you want to, wow, if I can do it. And as you're going upright, you're going to want to mash start so that way you get into it as soon as possible. So, if your Shaqurikens are going to go through somebody, they're going to go through her because she is the thinnest hitbox. And this fight is pretty much the same. So there you can see it, like it's going straight through her. Like that doesn't make, you know, any sense. And at that point, you want to do something else, pretty much, to get them off center. So this fight is pretty straightforward. She sometimes does like ground attacks or whatever, but all the bosses in easy mode is pretty much just do this. You get them stun locked, their AI doesn't have enough time to react. If you're lucky, they'll jump towards you. One thing I haven't seen is an enemy blocking yet, and we'll get to that soon. If no enemy does it. When an enemy block, it's an automatic time loss, and it really, really sucks. There I was Shaqurikening too quickly. There it is. So that's the block. So how this is done is you hold down and your move boost button, and you get a shield that blocks ranged attacks but nothing else. And since that's all we use for offense, it's pretty bad. One other thing to note is that we're taking forever on this fight. Enemy's health goes up very slowly, and your health does too, but it doesn't actually matter that much. Just beat them quickly and it won't. So if an enemy blocks, like, you basically just lose time, and that's it. And there's nothing you can do about it, because you have to, like, don't wait for the, oh crap. We're gonna go back. I wasn't paying attention. So don't wait for them to stop blocking or shield boosting. You know, just hit them and it'll go away. So I did something that was a no-no, and it's right there on my split. You may notice the split is named Don't Mash, and there's a reason for that. I don't actually know if hitting start here matters or not, but I always do it. Please? So when that happens, like you've already put the inputs in for the next Shaquriken, so by the time you realize it, you're already wasting a second one. Like, it's a terrible time loss when that happens, because there's not much you can do about it. Okay, so here you want to mash, and you want to hold down right in preparation, and then stop mashing. So I'll get to the movement after this, because we're going to go down right here. But, so, you want to mash through this and then stop mashing. The reason is that there's a bonus level right here. So if you continue to hit start, you'll go right into the bonus level. And, like, that's just run over, because there's no reason to do the bonus level. It hasn't even loaded, and it's taken forever, and, like, it's just, you kill a bunch of zombies or something like that. So, this movement's pretty weird. So you exit the map holding down right, and then you basically wiggle your way down by letting go of right until you get down. And the same thing with the bridge. It's actually the same bridge as the prior one. So you just want to wiggle yourself down there by holding down right and then letting go of right. And this is another reason why doing this on keyboard is so much easier. You want to get on the center of the bridge, and then you want to come out a little bit more from the bridge here, and you want to go straight up right about here. You want to line yourself up where, like, this bridge is in the fire pit here. Hopefully I did that right. Because that sets up our movement for the final part, which actually has the hardest movement in the entire game, is walking from here to the pyramid. So this boss is also a pushover. He's a heavy enemy, and so when you hit him, he gets knocked back just a little bit, but that's about it. So this fight is pretty straightforward. He's also pretty likely to block, but he'll pretty much never hit you. And there's also not a lot of lag. I say that, and then I get a lot of lag. But, like, notice how close he is to me, and that makes it a lot faster. And that's a really good thing. Also, always queue up a Shaquriken, even on the last Shaquriken. And the reason for that is that if they decide to block at the last second, you'll be standing there, like, thinking that you won and that you split and you're all good to go, and then they'll have blocked. And that's really bad. So, that's it for this guy. I usually split when the countdown happens, or like when the countdown finishes traveling. So then mash start here, except for the final boss, which you have to split on the last hit and continue to mash through this, mash start. So movement here is pretty weird. So the bridge is now there, and this is why I had you position so specifically here. Because if you enter the fight, like, pretty much anywhere here, you can hold up left as you're mashing, and you'll come straight up onto the bridge, because you don't want to get caught here. My world record run got caught here, and then went down and got caught here, and you get caught on pretty much everything here. And you want to aim just straight for the center of the bridge as best you can. So, holding, if you're positioned like right here, hold up left, then go to up, and start mashing start to get to the final boss, Sett Ra. So, mash start through this, and Sett Ra is annoying because he can jump over you and do a whole bunch of stuff and really just troll you around. But it's easy mode, so you're not likely going to die. So that would be a spot that it would have been nice to have blocked, but he usually doesn't start with something like that. So the idea is to sunlock him. This is another fight where it's really nice, or another reason why it's really nice to have keyboard. I've never seen him phase through Shaqurikens on both sides. So that was his block, which is really annoying. Like, literally just wasting time. But you saw that he jumped over me, and he likes to do that a lot. All you have to do when that happens is switch your Shaquriken input. So instead of right, left, right, Y, it's left, right, left, Y. You just do it backwards. Yeah, let's see if I can get him to jump over me. Okay, so, oh, no, now he's jumping over the wrong way. Oh, I've got Fury. If you've got Fury, that means the fight went really bad and you're losing time. Come on. Jump over me. Come on, do it. Jump, 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 jump. Okay. Left, right, left, Y, and you just do it the other way. And that's the whole thing of throwing Shaqurikens backwards. And that's what you want to do at that point. So, like, it's just as easy to do, but on controller, it becomes a lot harder. Oh, I missed the split. The final split is on when the last Shaquriken hits, which is kind of weird, considering that we're using Shaqurikens to do this, and it's kind of hard to see, because he could just shield at the very last second, like that. So this is really good that he phased towards me like that. Split. And then that's how you time it. So that's pretty much it for the whole game. That's Shaquriken easy mode. Nice and boring without any sound on it because it saves time. So just once again, the moves that you need is down left to block, left, right, left, Y to attack, and then, or I'm sorry, right, left, right, Y to attack, and then left, right, left, Y to attack if somebody's on the other side of you. And that's pretty much it. So I'll do a quick run of it just to show what it's like, and hopefully this run doesn't suck. And that'll be it for me today. So easy, off, game speed fast. That's everything we want. Go to story and mash, 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 mash. I'm holding left, down, mash to get into the falls, mash to get through the text, and let's hope we don't get seriously trolled. So it's a really, really short run. It's like 7 minutes. Like this is a crap start, but well, it's not that bad. She's done worse. I missed that Shaquriken. My mouse is coming in front of my screen, so I don't know why I mashed start there. It's just a habit. There's so many things in this game where like just mashing start. That would be nice. It's totally possible. So that's about when I split. Oh, look at that. It's world record pace. So mash start. I don't need to mash start there, but just out of habit. A lot of mashing start. That's why I put it on the enter key, because it's nice and big and easy to hit. So it's kind of sad that whoop. So that's his move boost. It's kind of sad that turning off the sound saves so much time. It was just one day I wanted to save or listen to some music, and then I was watching the GDQ VODs of the Mega Man 1 to 3 relay race, and someone mentioned that they save time by doing some glitch that turns the music off, and I was like, wait a minute, is that why it was so much easier? And then I went and timed it, and yeah. So it saved a couple seconds per cutscene, and I counted up the different cutscenes. Wow, this is exactly world record pace. -0, +0. And I counted up all the different cutscenes, and it comes to about 20 seconds of lag in just cutscenes. It's possible it's a bit more because like this fight used to be a little laggier, and so you know that slows down your Shaqurikens, that makes the inputs harder, it makes it easier to mess up, that kind of stuff. So you can see why he's pushover, because he didn't even like try. He can combo you pretty bad, but it's pretty rare. Like that, he can just keep doing stuff. He does one attack where he like holds his hands up and a bolt of lightning strikes you or something like that. It's not very menacing. Matrix, you called it. This is world record pace. So I'm gonna go straight up after this mashing ends. This is why you mash, because I always forget which ones have scenes after and which ones don't. I'm gonna cut a little bit because I'm trying to go fast here. Into the jungle. Yeah, this is world record pace. I mean, you can lose a run pretty easily if you get trolled. Like I showed on the tutorial, there were a handful of times that she just had Shaqurikens face through her because of small hitboxes, or like mistakes like that where I lose the Shaquriken from mashing too quickly. If it's extra laggy, I recommend holding the Shaquriken buttons longer. I'm hitting them pretty quickly here. Like I'm going with that shield block, like it adds a bunch of lag. So like I'm going like left, right, left, Y, left, right, left, Y, or right, left, right, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the pattern. Don't mash. Map. I think that's a little far to the left, but you know, if you're having lag, slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, put a little pause in there. It helps. One thing, I'm not sure how well this works, but it seems that you can mash the directional inputs during when it says fight. As I mess up the inputs. And that seems to let you get one in slightly early, but I wouldn't push it too much. If you push the Y button before it says fight, you basically have just wasted your time. Like that. Or, you know, I don't know how far it buffers from that, or like maybe it's just lag or something. And just like this fight's going south. Ooh, what's my undo button? I did that on one of my other, on like a world record run actually. I accidentally double split, had to undo, and then split at the end, and I didn't have my final split. So this is the worst part. Other than the first fight, the first fight she can really mess with you, and this fight he can really mess with you. Usually not as much as the first fight, so it's not as bad, but he likes to get really jumpy sometimes. And really blocky. I despawned a Shaquriken, he jumped over it, but he did jump closer, which is nice. So, this is going pretty poorly, but it's possible. I don't remember what my world record pace was. I'm pretty short on time, so if he plays nice. Nope, no world record today. Just from him jumping around. I mean, there's really not much you can do about it. So, it's such a short run, it's not a problem to like grind them, and it's kind of fun. It's such a meme game. It's a good game to put some music onto. So, 650, that's really, really good. Like that's a really good time. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, that's Shaq Fu. So I'm gonna hop off and post somebody, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clip this.